It's Sunday afternoon. I'm geoenvironmental atmospheric forecaster Andrew Fleck. Today, this video will be short. I promise that. We're going to sit down here. We're going to discuss the setup for Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. 3 to 4 days ago, we were sitting here. We were saying, wow, this could be a white Christmas with a lot of inches of snow. And now, a few days later after that, we're now sitting down and saying, well, it's not as much as what we were thinking, or not as much as what the models were outputting those days ago, and now a little less. And folks are asking, what happened? What's wrong? And can we at least hope for some type of change last minute? And in this video segment this afternoon, we're going to sit down and share really what has gone wrong from previous runs and previous days to now what's showing, and perhaps what could still give way if the Christmas magic does click its heels right. So we'll show you first the vorticities at the 500 level. We'll show you the GFS model, and then we'll go more surfaceized and into the 850 millibars and show you that energy as well, also including the NAM model. So it's going to be a really quick video. It's going to explain everything into a well-put perspective and explain to you why we had a lot a couple days ago and a little now. But doesn't matter if you have a lot or a little. I think folks are still going to be seeing the flakes flying, and if you're lucky, an inch or two. So this is the GFS model, and I'm going to circle two areas that derive this to be whether it's a light white Christmas or a heavy light Christmas. And the first factor here I will circle is around the Great Lakes or the upper Midwest. This is the primary low. This is where this really gets the whole system pushing into the mid-Atlantic come Christmas Eve. Now with this you need energy. Where's the energy? It's from the southern stream. It's down here, the eastern Tennessee Valley, the western Carolinas. A couple days ago, this was going to be deeper. It was going to sink more into the Tennessee Valley, this primary area, and then interact with the southern stream. It was really going to get strong. It was going to cause a lot of snow into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. Really, the whole mid-Atlantic was looking good. And now what's happening is we're not seeing as deep as a trough, and it's not really even interacting with the southern stream energy. It does to the very bit, but not a whole lot. So with that being said, we go to the next frame and show you exactly why. You can see the energy is now off the Carolinas, off the coast. Here's the primary, and that really, there's a clear cutoff, there's separation, there's not much interaction. Folks, if those two distinct variables interact, there would be a lot of snow falling. But with the lacking of troughing and the lacking of all that interaction there between the two, that looks unlikely. But at this point, we're talking about a coating or we're talking about inches. That's where we're at here. We're not talking about anything significant. So with that being said, we're going to go a little further to the surface and look at the 850 millibars. So the 500 was about 18,000 feet. We're going to now the 850, which is about 5,000 feet. So let's really see what the surface energy is doing here and if there's any interaction. And we use the 850 to figure that out. Now, this is the GFS model at the 850s. And what you'll see is here's the main area, the primary low, the driving low, and here's your southern stream energy. And look, folks, you got a little bit of interaction here, but not a lot. So you have a bit of some moderate precipitation moving through the southern mid-Atlantic. You got another area of moderate precipitation moving through the lakes, and so in between there's not much. So as for more of snow showers, maybe some light snow in an area where there's a little more of a saturation of precipitation, you could get an inch or so. This is off the GFS. But if we go to the NAM, we see there's actually, in fact, a little more interaction than the GFS. So it's not as though all these models have very little interaction. The NAM here out of 12Z this afternoon does have the primary doing quite a job with its southern stream energy out here, even leading up into the West Virginia mountains, Maryland, and then Pennsylvania. Now, I find what's very interesting is midnight last night, these models, all of them, the GFS, even the Canadian, the NAM, they were separate from the southern stream to that primary energy cutting across the upper Midwest and lakes. Now we see 6Z this morning, 12Z this afternoon. That's starting to interact a little more than it once was. So to me, if that does happen, you're playing with either a coating to a couple inches. no interaction, you're really looking at little to nothing. So if that does happen, you might have a little bit of more than what you were betting on. But again, I think there's going to be probably some type of white Christmas here. Not a very significant one, but enough to perhaps give you a smiling moment that morning while opening gifts with your family. Geo-environmental atmosphere, later on tonight, we'll put out a bit of a snow map. We're not expecting much. Again, we're playing with inches here. If that, maybe a little less to a coating or so. But we still want to make sure that you get the concept of what's going on here. That primary upper level low is not really interacting with the southern stream much. That was last night. Now they're starting to a little bit. Not by much there. There's not a big change. But if they do, you might be saying to yourself, well, we have some heavy precipitation on radar here entering the Tennessee Valley, entering soon to be the Mid-Atlantic. How is this just going to separate? You got to really watch this as it's occurring. That's how I think this event's going to be. But if you ask me, I don't think there's going to be a significant side of this. We're playing with inches here, and that's the way it'll be. But again, tune in for Geo-environmental atmosphere during later on tonight and through your early Christmas Eve. We'll be on there for you, and we'll be checking things out in case any major changes occur. So for Geo-environmental atmosphere, I'm Andrew Fleck. You have a good rest of your afternoon.